Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Hi. All right. So I got a couple announcements this morning. Men's Bible study is next Sunday at 5:30. And then in 2 weeks, we have homecoming with a potluck fellowship following afterwards. And that's all the announcements I have.
Good morning, Autumn. If you thank you, good. And I'm sorry, there he is. All right. This is called awkward pause and delay. All right. Good morning. As y'all know, the youth have been participating in D Now over the past several days, and everything I've heard, it's been really awesome. And so they're kind of in charge of the worship service today. They've told me it will be you'll be out. Don't worry, by supper time. So, but anyway, still awkward pause and delay. There we go. So anyway, they've got several songs that they wanted to lead y'all in this morning. And we're going to start with the song No Longer Slaves. So if you will, please stand and let's sing together. Ready? Yep. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies till all my fears are gone, and I'm no longer a slave to fear, and I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear, and I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. And I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. And I'm no longer a slave to fear. y'all will, please remain standing and join us in the song Run to the Father. If you're not familiar with this song, it's been out several years, and just the lyrics to it are so powerful. So as we're singing this together, really pay close attention to the lyrics. Okay, there we go. I've carried a burden, worked long on my own, and I wasn't created to bear it alone. Your invitation to let it all go, and I see it now. I'm laying it down, and I know that I need you. I run to the Father, I fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, the reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I'll run to the Father again and again and again and again. Your Son for redemption, the price for my heart. I don't have a context for that kind of love. I don't understand, I can't comprehend. All I know is I need you. I run to the Father, I fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, the reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, again and again and again and again. Oh, 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 my heart has been in your sights long before my first breath, running into your arms is running to life from death. I feel this rush deep in my chest. Your mercy is calling out. Just as I am, you pull me in, and I know I need you now. I run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, the reason to wait. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a friend. So I'll run to the Father again and again. I run to the Father, fall into grace. I'm done with the hiding, the reason to wait. My heart found a surgeon, my soul found a friend. So I'll run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, oh. This last song, it's really a prayer, and it's a song that it's asking the Lord to bless us, to keep us, make his face shine upon us. And so as we sing this last song, and as you prepare your hearts to hear the testimonies from the youth from these past several days, just let this be the prayer for your heart. Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Lord, turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. Sing it again. The Lord bless you. The Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. Lord, turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. 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 May his favor be upon you. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children. May his presence go before you, and behind you, and beside you, all around you, and within you. He is with you. He is with you in the morning, in the evening, and you're coming, and you're going, and you're weeping and rejoicing. He is for you. 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 Amen. Amen. Y'all may be seated.
Let's pray real quick before we get started. Lord, I just want to thank you for the weekend that we had with the kids. Thank you for the opportunity for us to be able to share what we experienced this weekend with everybody here, and hope that we open the minds and hearts of everyone that can maybe take something home with them today that we experienced. In your name we pray. Amen. So one quick funny story, because I know the kids are going to bring it up, and I want to go ahead and head this off at the pass. So last night we were eating dinner, and they had all the tables set up in their gymnasium. And Isaac and Kenneth were sitting at a table by themselves that could hold 8 people. And I was like, guys, why don't y'all come sit with us and open that table up for someone else? And so they did, and a group of girls went to their table, and there was one open seat left. And I looked at Kenneth, I said, Kenneth, why don't you go over there to that table and see if you can take that seat? He was like, no, I just can't. I don't want a girlfriend right now. I was like, okay. I was like, well, I can. They were like, well, why don't you go talk to him? I said, well, the last girl I talked to ended up marrying me, so I'm pretty much an expert. But we had a really good time. We had 3 sessions. We had one Friday night and 2 yesterday, and just wanted to go over a little bit of what we learned. So Friday nights was about the speaker pulled out a Lego-sized Jesus out of his pocket, and he asked the question, is Jesus a trinket, or is he your greatest treasure? When do you pull him out of your pocket? Do you pull him out of your pocket during your greatest need, or do you pull him out of your pocket on a daily basis? And that stuck with me, because we all get in a groove of everyday life. Everything's going really well. We don't really think about it until we get a flat tire, we lose our keys, we get an unexpected bill, or no matter what the case, then we want to try to call on Jesus. Well, that's not what we should be doing. We should be in our daily lives looking to Jesus. And then yesterday we were in 1 Kings chapter 19. So the previous chapter, it's Elijah had just God had just defeated Baal's prophets on the mountain, where he used the fire, destroyed everything on top of that mountain, even the wet and the water. It consumed everything. Well, Elijah, they put all the prophets of Baal to death, and then he's feeling pretty good about himself. Well, Jezebel didn't like that too much, and told Elijah that her only regret was that he didn't get a chance to kill Elijah. Well, he got afraid. Now, why in the world would Elijah be afraid after he just witnessed that? So he takes off running through the desert. When he gets to where he's going, in chapter 19, verse 13, it said, I'm going to back up to verse 12. And after the earthquake, where there was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire, and after the fire there was a sound of a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his cloak and went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. And the voice said, "What are you doing here?" And so the speaker posed the question, what are we doing here? And so during our small groups, we had a really good small group. We went around and asked each of the kids what they were doing here. What are you doing here in church? And I told them, when I was in youth, that the reason I went on trips, there was one reason, and she sure was pretty. I went on those trips, I went there for God, but it wasn't my number one priority. I went there for her and my friends and everybody else in the youth group, when I should have put God first, and then that should have been secondary. So that's a question we need to ask ourselves, is what are we doing here? And it goes on, then God wants to send Elijah to go anoint the kings and find Elisha to take over for him. So the last question we want to pose is, what are you going to do, and where are you going to go, and who are you going to tell? So what are you doing here? What are you going to do about it? Where are you going to go, and who are you going to tell? Those were the main points that we went over this weekend, and really, I got a lot out of this weekend. It wasn't just for the youth. It was for all the leaders. Cody that was with us, Miss Laura Lee, Miss Teresa was there Friday night. I got a lot out of this. It really stuck with me, the points and questions that he was posing to us. It wasn't just for the youth, it was for myself as well, and I really got a lot out of it, and I can't wait to hear what these guys have to say. So Vicente wants to be the first one to come share his experience. So Vicente, you want to come on up here and...
Overall, we all had a really good time. Kaysen stung Mr. Dude with the cow stinger, and then Mr. Chris stung Kaysen after that. And while we were there, we played games. We did a game of dodgeball with with a tower, and me and Miguel, Autumn, and one of the other kids from one of the other churches, we were the medics, and we were healing everybody. We won that round. Then we went up against high schoolers for the next one. All right, done.
So we actually haven't been to D now in about 2 years, and a significant portion has changed. Like, one thing I remember different was the band was different. Just the drummer was fantastic. Everything, like, he carried the show so amazingly. Just being able to watch him whip around his drumsticks in the air, that was cool. But second was the pastor was a little bit different. I didn't know if they had the same ones routinely, but they did not. And he was a youth pastor by profession, I believe. So he was a little bit more sporadic than usual, like, I guess, than I was used to. And it was pretty cool, but it wasn't quite centered on one lesson. But what I thought was kind of funny was the rec, which it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that I'm not exactly the most athletic person in our group. But when we went out, the first thing we did was this weird kickball game, which pretty much summed up the fact you kick a ball as far as you can, you run around the pole, try to make it back before everyone else can get the balls and put them in a trash can. We lost. So second was the dodgeball game, which compiled by the fact that I'm a ginormous target, and it was mostly centered around throwing, is we won that one by God's grace himself. Then after that was an obstacle course, shall we say. And it was our group and one other church against, like, the people in JROTC, a football team, and people wearing those weird 80s gym teacher short shorts that were really uncomfortable to look at. I think they lapped us twice before we got halfway through. But, yeah, we lost that one. And then there was this weird wrestling game, which we also lost. It was a great day. And right after that, we learned about, went through a lesson and talked about how to find God in the bad times. So it was really an emotional experience. It's okay. That's about all I got. Think you've been elected?
Yeah, I can see. It was nice to be back with my friends, and the thing that stuck out to me was our small group time when we spoke about being a thermostat or a thermometer and how we should try to be a thermostat and not a thermometer. And it was fun to be back with friends.
I had to open my notes. Over the weekend of D-Now, we had the best time. We played games, we worshiped God, and went fishing. Of course, I was the best one there. Best of all, we got closer to God, and most importantly, we had the amazing time with each other. Some of us got bruises, some of us got cuts, but we all had a great time. No, Sydney. Your turn.
I think you should be elected. Okay.
Have fun.
Here we go. Hold on. Okay. Wow. Here we are. Everybody took notes. All right. So overall, it was a really great experience. Oh, hi. My mic. Can you hear me now? Okay. So the thing that stuck out for me the most was when Mr. Chris was talking about it, when he asked why we were all there.
And he went around the room and they asked everyone while they were all there, and the top 2 answers were friends and to learn more about God. Later that night, we had a small group session where I think we were separated with the girls and the boys, and we talked to Miss Laura about it. And she said that it wasn't necessarily to learn about God, but to get closer to him and build a better relationship with him. So I think that was the thing that stuck out the most. So that's that. Madison.
Hello. The thing that really stuck out most to me, like Sydney said, was when Mr. Chris asked us about why we were here or why we were there. And some of us did say friends and to get closer to God. And as we thought about it more, it was for friends and to get closer to God, but we learned more about being broken but still going to church and acting like a Christian. You can be a good pastor, but you can still be broken and still have something that's not there. Or having the loss of someone that is still broken inside of you and you've still not come to terms with it. But, I mean, we did have fun. Like Miguel said, we did get cuts and bruises. But most of all, the funnest time I had there was when me, Gabby, and Kenneth and Autumn all jumped into Mr. Dude's lake when it was absolutely freezing, and Kaysen pushed me in. You pushed me in. But honestly, overall, this is the best year I've had. So...
All right, so overall, we had a good time. We learned about Jesus. We got to hang out with friends. We did go to Mr. Dude's house and fish a lot, like a lot. We caught a bunch of fish. I caught a goldfish. It's a goldfish. And we played manhunt. I won the game. Yeah, it was a good time. We had a lot of fun. We got to watch some movies. We watched Transformers and Green Lantern. But we had a good time hanging out with friends, learning about Jesus, and getting closer to him. And that's it.
Hello again. Like they all said, we've had fun. We learned a lot, and like they said, yes, I did hit dude with a hot shot. That was fun. Wasn't fun when I got hit back with it, but other than that, thank y'all for letting us crash your house, everything, and that's about it. I know.
Hi. So they all have said we had so much fun, like we all did. But I want to share the funny thing first. Yesterday we got home. Me and Sydney were in her room, like curling my hair, and Maddie and Ella run in and yell, Mr. Chris said we could all jump into their pond. And so they were all getting dressed into like leggings and shirts. And so I was the last one in the room getting dressed. And as I got out there, Ella is in the pond swimming. She's like, oh my gosh, it's so cold. And I was like, what do you expect? It's freezing cold outside. And then Kenneth had already got in. And he was like, yeah, don't jump in there. It's too cold. And then he decided he was going to try to push me in, but he didn't. But after that, I jumped in. It was freezing. No, never again. Sydney didn't want to jump in because she said, it's too dirty. But other than that, we played Manhunt last night, and we hid in like a circle thing that they had in their like horse pen thing. And me, Ella, and Sydney were like just laying on the ground trying to keep from being hidden. So Kason walks in, and Sydney's trying to talk him into telling us to Kenneth that we were like hiding there. I'm like laying on Sydney's stomach with my head, and then I had to turn in when Kenneth was banging on the walls, and I was trying to keep from laughing, so I turned my head into Sydney's stomach, and then Ella starts bursting out laughing, and then Kenneth came to the door and just banged on it. And by then, we were all, like, breaking out with, like, laughing. So he ended up finding us. And then, who was the last one found? Maddie was the last one found. She had the easiest hiding spot, but nobody checked. So that was a fun part. What stuck out to me the most was the thermometer and what was it? Thermostat. There we go. I was half asleep during the whole thing because we were all tired because the girls stayed up till like 2 o'clock on Friday night talking. But it was, the thermostat was like, who you want to change the other person, right? I don't remember. And then thermostat, you try to change other people. And the thermometer was you try to change yourself for the other person. So that's what stuck out to me the most was because I'm a thermometer. I try to change myself for other people. So, and I think Mr. Chris was talking about change. I don't remember half the stuff because, like I said, I was half asleep. So I still don't remember half the stuff. But I was a thermometer because I wanted to change for other people. Or I don't want to, but I sometimes change for other people.
So this morning we were fishing, and Skylar, he popped off on a giant catfish, like a really big one. And then last night we were playing Manhunt, and I was hiding in the bed of Mr. Phillips' truck in the front, and I was there for like 10 minutes laying down. And Kenneth walked up at the end. I was second last found. Kenneth walked up at the end, and he's like watching me in the back of the truck, and he saw me in the back of the truck hiding. That was the one with Skylar won. And I was looking up in the sky, and I saw 2 meteors fly by. Yeah, one was really small, and one was giant.
I would like to thank Mr. Dude for having us in his barn and allowing us to eat at his table. Can't wait to do it again. I plan to have more, but I'm not last this time.
Good times, am I right, everybody? All right, so over the course of the weekend, there was a lot of fun that had happened, as everybody had said to mention. During small groups, it was entertaining to get everybody's answers on why we're all here. When at the beginning we were all trying to earn Sunday points and say what we would believe the leaders would want to hear. On Friday, we had come back to the church to try and clean it up a little, and we had gotten done earlier, so we had some free time on our hands. I took that to probably do the most valuable thing that you could ever do, and I took a nap. As one does. I think that spending time with the youth group as we go forward in this is such a valuable thing to do, especially as we all get older and we start to realize that these trips and excursions and events are numbered. So I think that it was very fitting that this one would probably be one of my last DNOWs as a student. And I hope that I can come back again and possibly do this as a chaperone or possibly a leader myself one day.
I don't know if y'all remember a few years ago, that was the thermostat and thermometer was our theme for the year. And I thought it was funny that they had brought that up. And, you know, I'll speak on it a little bit. You know, we explained to them that being a thermometer was allowing what you experience at school or whatever you're doing, you adjust yourself to the tone of the room. And that if you want to be a thermostat, the only way to do that is through Jesus. If you don't have Jesus in your heart, if you don't believe, then there's no way that you can be a thermostat and that you yourself can set the tone for that room and have other people adjust to you. It's important to them to understand because it's school. It's a hard place to be a thermostat at school. There's a lot of pressures at school with their friends, and we talked about, the people you hang out with, if they're not bearing good fruit, then that's not somebody you want to be a part of. You want to be the one that they see, and they want to look at you and want what you have, and that is the hope that they see through you through Jesus Christ. And if you don't have that, if you're not showing that, you're not bearing that fruit, then what are you doing here? So if you don't know Jesus and you want to bear that fruit and you want to be the thermostat rather than the thermometer always changing for those around you, then I strongly encourage you to come speak to one of us, myself, Brother Jared, any of the deacons, the leaders in the church. Just come talk to us. We'll help you. We'll help guide you. We're definitely not, bearing good fruit doesn't mean you're perfect. It says in the Bible that even though you bear good fruit, doesn't mean you're without sin. So it's not about being perfect. It's about being that light that other people can see and want to be a part of. So with that, I'll wrap it up. You want to come do a song for me? Oh, I almost forgot. Miss Laura Lee wanted to share a little bit. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Thanks. I almost didn't raise my hand because I really don't want to, but I feel like I'm being told to. I'm not by Chris, but by God. My big takeaway from the weekend was that Jesus didn't come to make bad people good, but he came to make dead people alive. That was a good reminder for me, and I think it was really important for the youth. During my time working with youth here at my old church and even raising my kids, I think a lot of young people and even adults think that being a Christian basically means you go to church and you're pretty good. You don't do any really big sins. But that really leads to a life of either being defeated, because you really know deep down you can never be good enough to meet God's holy standard, or boredom, because you think you are good enough, and what's the point of the cross anyway? I had heard in the past it described as the gospel is not just your ticket to heaven, but it's your power for living now and being changed and transformed into the likeness of Christ. The way the speaker at DNOW described it, he said it was like the gospel is not just the diving board that you jump off of into the pool of Christianity. the gospel is the pool, and it's how we live our lives now with Christ in us. And it's what I try to stress to the youth, it's Jesus' invitation out of darkness, from death, into light, and life with him in you. So I would ask all of you to be praying with us for our youth, that they would really get that it's not this checklist and, did you sit quietly in church, and did you give the Sunday school answers and all that. That's not what it's about. What I really enjoyed about the weekend was just being able to hang out with our kids. I really wanted to take a nap, but I didn't. I stayed awake and hung out. And a couple of the girls alluded to it. We had some really good, honest conversations in our small group girls' time. Some of it was raw. I wish we'd had more time, but I'm really blessed that we have our small group times in youth groups, so we can continue those conversations. And then I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Asher took me on a tour of his farm in his little gator, and I got to see the baby goats and the calf and the big horse that he kept saying, make him get away from me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not moving the horse. You're going to have to drive away. And I want to give a big shout out to Dude and Dina for hosting all of the youth, not just girls, not just guys, but all of them for the whole weekend. They were wonderful, and we really appreciate you guys. Thanks.
We're going to just have a little invitational time. Diza's going to play a song for us. If you feel led to come down, don't hesitate. Don't let fear take control, because fear can it can twist God. Don't let fear. If you, why wait? Now's the time. Now's the time.
Thousand stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard a tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleasing, that I'm never alone. You're a good, good father. It's who you are, it's who you are, it's who you are, and I am loved by you. It's who I am, it's who I am, it's who I am. Oh, I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say